Canon Films, the home of high-powered, high-voltage motion picture entertainment. With the screen's biggest spectacles, brightest stars, and boldest lineup of explosive entertainment. We're taking motion picture excitement over the edge and your box office over the top. We're Canon Films, and we're dynamite.
We're talking about a kung fu film again.
Yeah, so last episode we actually very much enjoyed that film, and part of that was, you know, even though it was a basic meat and potatoes kung fu flick, Yuan Wu Ping choreography that was kind of interesting and crunchy, you know, and there wasn't a lot of plot, but it was just enough that we needed. Every fight scene was interesting. And then we come to this week's film. So this week's film is called Survival of the Dragon.
Also known as Thunder Kick.
Yeah, or The Thunder Kick. I think I prefer Thunder Kick.
Me too.
Even if, let's be honest, there's no Thunder Kicks.
There's no real Thunder Kicks, no.
But then there's no dragons in it either.
And not much survival.
Not much survival. This one did not have many of the benefits of the last film we watched.
A lot of action, though. A lot of action.
A lot of action, but still with that classic kung fu film dip in the middle.
Yeah, but there's a big dip in the middle. And the film starts with a guy on a bridge asking for people to pay a toll.
This, a bridge tax. If you want to cross the bridge, you've got to pay the tax first. It's as simple as that. Pay to who? Pay to me.
Easy money.
And then our hero...
Bridge troll.
Bridge troll. He's like, ah!
Hey, well, you pay.
And then a guy shows up, which, like a lot of our podcasts, we're just going to call the hero.
Yeah, the hero, basically.
And the hero shows up, and he's not going to pay this fucking money, and he beats him up.
Yeah, and, you know, it's fine.
Yeah, it's all right. And it basically sets the quality of the action in the movie, which is, it's not bad. It's not great. It's okay. There's not that many crazy moves, and there's no punctuation marks to the action. Like where Fist of Double K had the guy killing people, which those were the punctuation marks. This one doesn't really have anything. And it has that thing where like people fight for a long time but never really seem to get tired.
Yeah, and they just punch each other a lot, but not in like a way where you feel like the fight is evolving.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. So this guy, this hero, goes home to his family, and they're like...
So he comes home to who you kind of assume is his sister and his mother. And she's like, the neighbor's like, your son is fighting again. And the mother's like, oh, really?
You promised not to fight.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no, not one of these.
Again now. You promised.
Go to your room. And you ought to be ashamed of yourself for fighting like some common street punk! But, no buts! Go to your room. I'm not a child! Oh, adults fight in the streets? Go to your room!
Yeah.
Promise not to fight story.
So she's like, promise me you will not fight anymore.
He falls to his knees and he's like, I'm sorry, I promise.
He promised I will never fight, ever again. I won't do it anymore.
Come on.
Ma, I really am sorry.
Pussy!
And you're like, okay, fair enough. I guess this means this film is not going to have any fighting in it for ages.
Yeah.
Because this is often what these films are like Why am I thinking of like No Defeat, No Surrender, or it's called that one?
I don't think because that's like more of a that is one where he doesn't
fight. It's the first
fight.
one, right?
Yeah, because his dad he promised his dad not to fight, and he never fucking fights until the last like 10 minutes. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, but he fights Jean-Claude Van Damme at the end. Right?
Yeah, it's not a very good film, but No Retreat, No Surrender 3, Blood Brothers, great film.
Okay, anyway, point being, there is, we know this type of film. Characters promise not to fight, and then they don't fight, and it's really boring, right?
Yep.
So this is what we're expecting. We're not feeling happy about this happening.
No.
And then what happens is, he goes for a walk or something, I don't know. He's away.
Yeah, and a guy and his, like, mentally challenged sidekick shows up at his mom's I don't know what she's running.
I don't know why they are there, to be honest. They just, basically, this character shows up.
He saw the hero fighting earlier in the film, and he's like, I like his moves.
Well, who is it?
It's me. Sorry, this is,
She's Mr. Chi's mother.
I'm most honored. My name's Wong Kai Tai.
Oh, don't do that. You mustn't. Please get up. Please get up.
Thank you.
Only apologize for my ignorance, Master. I will do anything to prove my worthiness.
You have been to the movies again, I see. Full of disciples falling to their knees at the slightest hint of their master's displeasure.
The baddies show up again.
With Bolo Young, villain from Enter the Dragon, the big muscular dude.
That's true. Yep. This is all you see of him, though.
Yep, this is the only scene.
And basically, they beat up his mother.
That's enough talk.
They beat up his mother for a while, and they fight with the new guy.
Yes.
Right? And literally what happens is, while one of the characters is just about to, like, punch his mum again...
Yeah.
Like, his fist, our hero's fist, appears from the side of the screen and knocks him out.
Yeah.
And then his mum's like, give him hell, son. Like,
it lasted, like, less than 3 minutes of no fighting.
There's, like, 3 minutes of no fighting. And then they fight for ages. And again, you watch it and you're like, alright, it's fine, I guess.
Yeah, it's action choreographed by Lau Kar-wing, brother of the famous director and action choreographer who defined action in the Shaw Brothers era, Lau Kar-lung, who made like 8 Diagram Pole Fighter, 36 Chamber of Shaolin. This is his brother, who is a good action choreographer, but it's a little bit rote in what he does.
Yeah. You talked last episode about how a director would be like, okay, do a 6 and then do a 3. This one feels kind of like that. Like, he just has a bunch of things they're going to do, and they just do them in an order, and that's what happens, basically. Yes. So, they beat up the guys, and our hero... the guy, the baddie who's trying to beat up his mom is like, oh, please let us go. And he's like, I'd like to kill you, actually. And I was like, oh, maybe this will be the last film where here's a psychopath and just loves killing. But then obviously his mom's like, no, let them go, you know? Yeah. And he lets them go, and we never see them again.
I'm trying to kill you. Huh? Auntie, please let me go. Please let me go. Will you let me go?
Will you stop bullying people?
Oh, I swear I won't do it anymore. I promise.
All right, let them go.
Seen some badass bush before, man, but nothing like this.
I hear ya.
But you think to yourself, his mom's gonna die or something, right?
Yeah, at one point a character goes, I hope you live a very long life. And Matthew turned to me and was like, I got myself a boat. It's called Live Forever.
Yeah, I mean, basically, you assume that.
Yeah.
But we never see the mother again, basically, because this is not the plot. It's not about her.
Logical, since Tien and I are brothers. We're all one family. And in any case, your own place got damaged today. So you need a new home. I got a lot of pleasure out of buying it for you. So please don't refuse it.
Oh, well, in that case, we'll stay for a while. And let's leave it like that, huh?
Who's bothering you? There's a girl. I'll buy her off.
It's crazy. I can't believe that this is the plot of the movie where the guy who came and wanted to ask the other dude for help decides not to ask the hero for help, and he leaves in a boat.
Yeah.
It just seems odd. I know I'm not perfect, but I don't go around playing tricks on nice people. Now then, you go and tell your mother she doesn't have to worry. Sure. Good night. See you tomorrow.
Wow, what a totally amazing, excellent discovery. Not.
Yeah, literally what the plot is, but before he does that is, this guy has been looking for someone to help them run his company or something, protect his company from gangsters who live in the town where he lives. So he's been traveling, I guess, the countryside, just looking for a guy who's good at fighting.
A high school girl can do my job.
So the boat leaves, and our hero, and who we assume is his sister, they're having. She's like, yo, you really like him, right? And she's like, and then he's like, I mean, not like I like you. And you're like, okay, well, they're probably not brother and sister.
Yeah, I don't like him.
I don't. And then she's like, what's different about it? And he's like, look, I don't. Oh, look, let's get married.
Let's get married.
Let's get married, okay?
I'm not gay.
Like, I don't like men. I just because I was playing a bit with these guys earlier, there's nothing weird about it, right? We like to have showers together.
You didn't make me fight, but I had to do other stuff for that house.
Yeah, like, let's get married, you know? Again, doesn't come up ever again, really.
No, never comes up ever again.
I like him tremendously.
I see. More than you do me?
Oh, come on. I mean...
You mean what?
That's different.
In what way?
You know what I mean. Listen.
Mm-hmm.
How about we get married?
Well, I would like to, if you think it'll work out.
Why, sure. Of course it will. I'll tell Ma. All right?
I'll ask my father.
I like him.
That's no reason.
I don't have a very good reason. Still I'll yell to the sky, though I can't tell you why, that I like him.
So at this point, are the dubbers just like fucking with the audience? Are they sitting there in the booth? Like, how close do they have to follow that script? Because you basically want to almost create a bunch of gibberish to like what they're saying.
I mean, at this point, like, yeah, I mean, who knows, right? I mean, this movie is not going anywhere at this point, and so they're kind of like, okay, something has to happen. What happens is, the guy gets back to his city, he gets immediately murdered by the gangsters.
Yes.
Just like immediately.
Our business. That worries you, does it?
Right. We're gonna fix you now.
Yeah.
My men are not expendable. And I don't do this kind of work.
And you're like, oh, okay, well, I guess that's that then? But no, our hero does as told, shows up in the city lair, finds out he's dead. Like, Justin is making the I'm falling asleep face, because you're like, because you're already, everyone in the audience is like, why do we care? This guy came, gave him a house.
Yeah, he didn't do anything. Like, he's not family. He didn't save them. I mean, he gave them a house. That's nice.
So the guy arrives, and he's like, what? He's dead? I'm gonna go kill those gangsters.
Guess what, guys? That's it.
But
no other conflict happens.
But the problem is, if the movie was just from this point on, him like murdering the gangsters, maybe we'd be okay. But no, he has two guys who are the friends of the other guy, and they say, no wait, you should like...
We got a plan.
You should go and see what they do, check out their, their gambling dens and stuff, and then you should kill him.
They murdered him. I'll get them. I'll kill every last stinking one of them. But still, we don't know enough about them yet. Let's take our time. Find out just who they are, and then get them. That's the right idea. There's quite a big family of them. Check on them first.
Aha! What did I hear? We've got a bingo!
And let's just cut to the chase. This happens for maybe 20 minutes, and their big plan is the hero just walks into wherever they are and beats them up to death.
Yeah, one at a time.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you looking at?
He sees
No,
how
he goes to the opium den first.
Does he go to the opium den
He
first?
does go to the opium den
Yeah, he goes
first.
to the opium den first, and then he's like, alright, you've got opium, fair enough, I get it. Like, you give it to guys, people smoke opium, the end.
What do you want? Siamese, Indian, Burmese, it's all good opium. So then, which do you prefer?
Not yet. Waiting for a friend.
Oh, good. I'll come back here later.
No, I can't pay it today. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, right. If I was a dealer, you'd be dead by now, motherfucker. You turn shit down on the street, and the chief brings your wife a crisply folded flag. The fuck is wrong with you?
Goes to the gambling den, and he sees how they cheat at gambling, because obviously, like, because, you know, gambling, I guess, is more acceptable, so gambling has to be crooked for it to be a big problem. Yeah. Sees them cheating, and we see a guy who I kind of assumed would become comic relief, because he is kind of comic relief.
That's right, who gets like...
But then they brutally beat him up in front of him.
So... Damn you! So you want to make trouble here, do you?
Listen, no.
That is why you fail.
Basically, he just passively watches it happening. He's not the hero from the previous film.
Who would fucking kill those guys?
He just kill guys immediately. He just watches some quietly, like, oh, they're beating up a guy. Okay.
This is really the broccoli to the meat and potatoes.
What was that? Oh, come on. I don't believe I heard you say that.
Prostitution den, somebody comes to try and rescue the prostitute. The prostitution den is hilariously grim, because there's just multiple prostitutes just sitting there crying. Like, which is not funny, but like...
But I'm laughing.
But yeah, I guess so. Yeah, so somebody... he just passively watches...
Hey, what is all this? Hey, get them! Right.
Get going. We won't have much time.
You're a real hero.
And then, like, that's it, right? He watches for a while, then there's some discussions, some more, like, space-filling chatter about what they're gonna do.
So, how do we split them up?
Got it. Uncle Lau can help us out. He's a clever guy.
Great minds.
I beg your pardon?
It's like we're operating as one organism.
Perhaps, if you view us as a quantum physicist might.
That would be fine.
And ultimately what happens is, he goes to place after place after place...
And just kills the guy.
That's right.
But, so he goes to the first place, which is, he goes to...
Opium.
Opium first?
Yep.
Opium first.
Because it has a comedic relief. He's like, he walks in the opium den, and there's a little, like, sly, wiry guy who's smoking opium, and he's like, get out of here! And the guy's like, I don't want to go, let me finish my opium!
And he sounds exactly like Boo Boo from Yogi Bear,
Yeah.
which is pretty interesting. All the guys at the opium den are kind of dressed like Michael Jackson in the Smooth Criminal video, though. Like, they've all got the top hat and, like, the jackets and stuff, and they don't do any, cool dancing or anything. They just get beaten up.
Yes.
But
the guy, I mean, it's okay, because he starts killing people at this point, like, which is weird, because, once again, there's no motivation for this.
Yeah, there's a huge problem with this movie is that literally this guy's motivation is a man who gave me a house died.
Yes.
That's all there is to it. So... I was saying, in certain action movies, you watch fight scenes that are not really that exciting, but because there's so much pathos behind them, you're like, yeah, you're really into it. Yeah, when, right? So, like, the most famous one everyone always brings up is, like, if you watch the fight scene at the end of Empire Strikes Back, it's not good.
No, it's
like,
not
it's
good.
got terrible choreography, but because you're, like, totally into it, like, every hit, you feel it, you know, like, the scrappiness just works, you know, like, but, like, so, like, this, which has perfectly acceptable action choreography.
I would say maybe even above average. Like, it's good.
It's good. You just don't care. Like, it's just not exciting enough. Like, literally, he goes to the next place, which is prostitution, right? And he fights those guys, and he actually throws the main baddie down a well. That's how he kills him. Normally, that'd be like, yeah, woo, threw a guy down a well.
But this is after like 6 minutes of fighting.
Well, you don't really care.
It has a problem that I've had with a lot of these old school kung fu films, is that when you're watching them at home, your eyes kind of start to glaze over, and you start looking at the window. In the middle of a fight, you feel you can just go up, get a glass of water, and come back, and you're not really going to miss that much.
Yeah, I literally made toast in the climax.
Wanna go down the hall? Yes, dear. Wanna go down the hall?
Anyway, he murders guy number 2.
Yep. And then he goes guy number 3. Yeah. But as I pointed out, he suddenly starts gambling.
Yeah, he goes to the third one, and he doesn't go to himself, I just gotta fucking kill this guy straight away. He's like, I'm gonna do some gambling first.
How lucky can one guy be? I kissed her and she kissed me, like the fella once said.
Yep. He proves that they're thingy, and then he just kills the guy.
I don't like the look of this.
Come on, let's get out of here.
Oh, he was robbed and you know it.
Game, set, match.
But that takes forever. This last guy
takes so long.
This last guy, they're like, this is the main guy, and you're like, why is this the main guy? He's just one of the fucking 3 guys.
And like, when we were watching it, and we're like, is this it? Is he just gonna kill this guy? And the movie's gonna be
at
over?
the point where they're facing each other, I was like, is this it? Is this honestly the climax? But what's funny about this climax is 2 things. One, he fights the guy for ages, and then takes off his jacket and reveals he has tonfas under his jacket. Now, if you don't know what a tonfa is, this is me explaining a lot of stuff.
They're basically police batons.
Batons, but they're the ones with, the stick out the middle part that you can hold.
And they cover your forearm.
They cover your forearm, right? And think about hiding those under your jacket.
Like, he pulled his jacket off, and they're basically, like, popping out.
You couldn't do that. It's just impossible. It's
you might as well just pull, like, a bazooka out of your
it's really
pants.
silly. And he doesn't do anything cooler with those tonfas.
Nope.
He just continues to beat the guy up. And then the guy runs away, so we have a chase sequence for no reason. This is where I made toast. And I came back, and, yeah, he kills the guy, right?
Well, that's it. Show's over, folks. Move along. Nothing more to see here.
And then, literally, the end of the movie is him smiling and waving on a boat going back home to his mum's nice new house.
And the end.
It's one of those examples of lazy kung fu movies that were cranked out. Do you know what I mean? Like, because
they're not lazy. Like, it's competent, but it's just not. It's the kind of movie that you watch it and you could go like, that's okay, and then it just washes right over you. It's forgotten.
This is much more why I think of a canon pick, because it's very much the type of film that gets shoved onto a double bill that people just. They're sitting in the cinema because they want to do something, and it happens to them. You know, like, I mean, you know, it's still got the fun English people doing, American accents, dub. It's as we discussed, the fighting is totally competent.
Yeah.
But the stakes are so impossibly low.
They're so low.
They could not be lower.
Yeah, pretty
like
much.
that's like the level of it. You know, like even like
the man doesn't even like save them from the villains or anything like that. He just gives them a house. That's it.
Yeah, there's
Here. The deeds for the house. In your name. Also a check. For your mother. A present. But look.
Listen, I'm grateful, but you shouldn't have.
It just seemed logical since Titian and I are brothers. We're all one family. And in any case, your own place got damaged today. So you need a new home. I got a lot of pleasure out of buying it for you. So please don't refuse it.
Oh, well, in that case, we'll stay for a while.
Great minds, Captain Hunt. Great minds.
Great minds. Right.
There's nothing to this.
Like, why the fuck wasn't his like family killed or something like that? That would have been so easy.
Yeah, I mean, they literally set up for ages.
Yep.
They're like, well, he has a wife. His mother has been wished a long life. So
we're trying to do filmmakers making a kung fu movie, kill the family of the protagonist. Come on, at least that.
It's like in The Raid 2 when he's like constantly worried about his family, but then they're never in danger ever.
Nope.
He like calls them out. Are you guys okay? Yeah, we're fine. We're okay. We're just watching the news. You know, everything's good. All right. Well, I guess I'll just go back to being undercover. I mean, just give me a call if you get kidnapped or something. Never happens. This movie was bad enough that we should come up with some good recommendations.
Yes, good recommendations. I guess I'll go first. We actually talked about it. The movie was so boring that we started talking about what should we recommend during the film, which brings up what arguably is considered, you know what, it's not that good a movie, to be quite honest, but it's in that, like, when you start watching Hong Kong movies, it's always on those lists. And that is Chow Yun-Fat's God of Gamblers. Now, if you do a little bit of research about God of Gamblers, you learn it's about Chow Yun-Fat, who's awesome at gambling. Yeah, that sounds great. It makes sense that someone like Samuel Jackson, I believe in the 90s, bought the rights to the movie for a Hollywood remake. Because who doesn't want to be the awesome guy at gambling? But this film is directed by Wong Jing. And what people forget is that Chow Yun-Fat being awesome at gambling is basically the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
Because then he tries to pull a prank on a very racist caricature, and he hits his head and becomes
mentally challenged,
and not
in a sensitive portrayal. This is like
it's like full retard, as Ben Stiller would say.
Yeah, he's like, I love chocolate. He just starts to he becomes
not quite Uter from Simpsons, but I love chocolate.
Yeah, it's.
And Andy Lau finds him, superstar Andy Lau.
And then they waste so much time just like faffing about with him being mentally challenged.
Like, I think he like sees a woman changing and he's like,
I like him. It's a movie I have enjoyed.
Yes.
God of Gamblers.
Oh man, that first gambling scene is everything you'd want in a Hong Kong.
Yeah, and the final gambling scenes are good too.
Yes.
The problem is it's just got that middle where you're like, this is really not okay.
But I feel that like it's funny enough that I can easily make it a recommendation. And if you're getting into Hong Kong films, you should see this. Like, Chow Yun-Fat like flips a gun in the air and catches two of them and like shoots a bunch of people.
It's totally a valid recommendation, and I think it is enjoyable. But I think you have to mention that the middle part, because I also saw this movie thinking it was going to be about Chow Yun-Fat as an awesome gambler. Yeah. It's called God of Gamblers. It's not called Mentally Challenged Gambler, which is like would be much more honest.
And I mean, this is getting into like the nitty gritty, but God of Gamblers is one of those films that is like the shining beacon of what Hong Kong cinema represents. Because what happened was, after God of Gamblers was such a big hit, Corey Yun, the action choreographer, and Jeff Lau, a famous comedy director, decided to make like a parody film called All for the Winners, which is the film that made Stephen Chow. It was the movie that like made Stephen Chow a superstar. So, when Wong Jing decides to make God of Gamblers 2, Chow Yun-Fat doesn't want to come back. Why not get the guy from the parody film to star in it with Andy Lau? Okay, Chow Yun-Fat only appears in stock footage when they're like, hey, Chow Yun-Fat, God of Gamblers 3? Stephen Chow appears again, now has psychic powers, like part 2, goes back in time. It's just like one of those, like, what the fuck? Anything can happen. God of Gamblers returns, Chow Yun-Fat comes back. I think he loses his memory in that movie too. I'm not 100% sure. No, he promises his wife not to gamble for like 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, Hong Kong movies are not the best at continuity. Often they just like they make sequels that just have the same actors in but no connection.
All right, so what movie are you going to recommend?
So I was trying to think of a classic kung fu movie, like one that's like this and it's quite straightforward and it's mostly about just the fight scenes. Do you know what I mean? But not like anything that people would really comes to mind straight away or anything too modern. So like last time I recommended Mismatched Couples, which is not modern, but that was like, you know, like
it's pretty obscure,
15, 16 years later. So I actually think of this one as it's not actually obscure, but like it was one I only discovered.
You said the title and I was like, oh yeah, that one, directed by...
I only discovered because I saw it on late night TV once on one of those action movie channels. I only discovered the pedigree of it much later. It's called Legend of a Fighter.
Yeah.
Which is quite a generic title, but it's Yuan Wu Ping.
Mm-hmm.
I don't actually know...
It's directed by him.
It's directed by him. So that's the same as last time. Except this is very much... If you know the Jet Li movie, Fist of Legend, it's kind of basically the same plot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like Chinese guy has a Japanese like mentor who's like trains him in like, you know...
And Fist of Legend being a remake of Fist of Fury, the Bruce Lee picture.
Yeah, which is also about Japanese... karate versus Chinese kung fu, basically. I mean, it's a kind of a traditional type of like sort of slightly iffy, you know, ethnic nationalism thing, but like based on the region, you know, it's kind of a difficult thing to discuss. But the point is if you watch Legend of a Fighter, that's a very good, clear, straightforward fighting movie. So when you watch the characters fighting, you see everything that's happening. The shots are pulled back. They're nice and clear.
That's like a Yuo Ping trademark. You always know what's going on.
There's not a lot. Like I distinctly remember the last fight, the centerpiece of it. There's not a lot of cutting. There's quite long sequences of them just fighting, and it's like one that I remember watching. Actually, I think it was we found it on television late night. Me, my dad, my brother, we were thinking, oh, we'll just watch this cheesy kung fu film for a while. And we got really into it. You know, like it's one of those ones where... Because I really like these kung fu movies where the final fight, right? So like Fist of Legend is a perfect example of that. That last fight.
So good.
There's so much pathos.
Yeah.
I love actually a lot of kung fu movies are about Chinese people's grievance with other countries.
Yeah.
So it's all about how Japanese people are evil or how English people are evil.
You know what? It's fine if English people are evil. They did, you know, like...
Yeah. And, you know, I'm not going to judge them for it, but it allows you, if you get into the mindset, to really... It's like the Nazis, right?
Yeah.
The Nazis show up in something, you're like, I fucking hate the Nazis. Those guys are going to get it, and you love it, right? Like, you just love seeing Nazis get killed. Everybody loves it, because you hate them. And it's the same deal. Like, they set up the British people are evil, they set up the Japanese people are evil, and you hate them. And then when the final fight comes, you're so into it. You want them to win so bad. I have no idea if Legend of a Fighter is one of the earlier ones that do this, but it's roughly of the era of the movie that we were talking about in this episode, and it's just so good. You know, like it's just so perfect to watch if you want something like this and an originator of this type of style.
I mean, I know we're off base right now, but we're a little bit short. It's like 35 minutes in. So you're talking about Japanese, and I don't think we're going to have another martial arts film movie for a long time. So let's get all of the good stuff out right now. When you talk about Japanese versus Hong Kong stuff, what comes to mind is Lau Kar Leung, you know, the brother of the guy that did the action in this movie. It's a movie called Shaolin Challenges Ninja, which is a great movie if you want... You're speaking of, like, low stakes. This movie is just a Japanese woman marries a Hong Kong man, or a Chinese man, and they have fights to decide which style is better. So it's basically like... someone used it like a Preston Sturges kind of comedy, like a bedroom farce, except with fighting. And what happens is her family comes and like challenges him, all of them using different styles that he has to then defeat to prove that kung fu is better than whatever Japanese style. Or at the same time, if you want something a little bit more modern, around the time that Legend of the Fighter came out, Ninja in the Dragon's Den is a great Japanese teams up with Chinese martial artists, and it actually stars a Japanese guy who's pretty famous. I don't remember exactly his name. He was Sony Chiba's protege back in the day, and he's one of those rare actors who made a complete transition into like Hollywood filmmaking. Like he was in, I believe, he was in Sunshine, that Danny Boyle film. Hirokio Sanada is his name. And he has like a real good presence. Yeah, he was in Wolverine, he's in Sunshine, he's in 47 Ronin, he's in Speed Racer, he's in Rush Hour 3, he's in a whole bunch of stuff. And Ninja in the Dragon's Den, great movie. And Challenges Ninja.
There's another, if we're talking about like Hong Kong versus Japan, one that I've been meaning to watch, if we're just going down this route, again, because I loved it when I saw it.
Yes.
Full Time Killer.
Ooh, love that movie.
Yes.
Not a kung fu film.
Not a kung fu film, but it's just Full Time Killer is about, there's a Japanese assassin and Andy Lau plays the Hong Kong assassin, and there's kind of like a love triangle and
That's
stuff.
an interesting one because it's not only just Japan, but it's also Hong Kong kind of commenting on American action. Because like Andy Lau's character in the film is like obsessed with like American action.
Yeah, he's obsessed with Point Break.
Point Break specifically. Johnny Toe.
But
great movie.
It has some of like, you know, like cool guys walking from explosions.
Yeah.
Like it's like non-stop that. Like it has the best like introduction to a character, which I think it's how he introduces Andy Lau. He like walks into basically like a police station where a guy is being held, and he just like opens up a whole bandolier of grenades into his room, and then he just walks away smiling as basically the whole police station like explodes behind him.
I believe that every kill in that movie is a reference to a Hollywood action movie because Andy Lau opens the roses like the Terminator when he pulls the shotgun out in that scene.
He does, yeah.
And there's like a whole bunch of other stuff like that. And there's a funny line where they're in a movie theater and he's like, I love trailers. Why go see the movie if you can just watch the trailer?
Yeah, it's so funny.
It has all the best parts.
Yeah. That movie is great. I haven't seen that movie in like 5 years. I should definitely rewatch it.
That was a weird like crossover film that at that point in time, if you were starting to watch Hong Kong movies, everyone was talking about that one.
Yeah.
And I mean, Johnny Toe went on to make like a multitude of classics, but has weirdly slowed down recently, which is a big bummer.
Also, his films have been a lot less exciting, and I don't mean that in a bad way. His movies are more sort of like slow and measured and thoughtful, I think, you know?
But that's him at his shallowest out of everything.
Yeah, Full Time Killer is like his most extreme, I would say. And it's definitely one of my favorites. Although I do really love a lot of his movies.
Oh yeah, I mean we could list those we could do a podcast only on Johnny Toe. I mean if you want to go see the newest one, Drug War, is such an interesting, the way that he adapted that movie into the constraints of Chinese censorship are like two middle fingers to China in the constraints of something that's been government approved and is an action film. And until then, my name is Justin McClure.
As Matthew Kumar.
Thanks for listening.